Okay, folks, like to get started with the meeting. It is 7:02. I would like to call the order of the Oregon City Council regular meeting for April 28th, 2025. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Ms. Snyder, would you please take a roll call of council members present?
Mrs. Ackerman? Here. Mr. Horniak?
Here.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Here.
Mr. Reeves?
Here.
Mr. Solander?
Here.
Mr. Wollensack?
Here. Please note that Mr. Drake is absent tonight, but he did contact me today and asked to be excused from tonight's meeting. So with that, I'd seek a motion to excuse Mr. Drake.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Salander.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilman Drake from tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Salander. Second by Mr. Wollensack. Council, any objections? Hearing none, Mr. Drake is excused from tonight's meeting. Also present at tonight's meeting is Mayor Michael Safarian, City Administrator Joe Major, Clerk of Council Josette Snyder, Law Director Melissa Papora, Public Service Director Paul Roman, our Fire Chief Clayton O'Brien, our Assistant Fire Chief Mark Mullins, and our Finance Director Nick Roman. Next order of business is to approve the meeting minutes from the April 14th, 2025 regular council meeting and the April 21st, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting. Council.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Horniak.
I move to accept the minutes from the April 14th regular council meeting and April 21st committee of the whole meeting as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Ms. Pauloff. We have a motion by Mr. Horniak, second by Ms. Pauloff. Does anyone have any objections? Hearing none, meeting minutes are accepted as presented. The first item on the agenda is persons of delegations. We have nobody signed in to speak tonight, so we'll move on to our agenda. The first item on the agenda is on the agenda for passage is item numbered 82 of 2025, previously presented by Mayor Safarian and City Administrator Joe Major. Mr. Major, anything to add on the first one?
On the first one, no, Mr. President, but if I may speak on, since the four of these items all run together, if I may speak on 83 and 84 collectively and explain why there are changes to item number 83 and 84, not the other two,
Please.
if that's okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. So item number 82 of 2025 would remain the same. Item 83 of 25 and item 84 of 2025. There are some slight adjustments. When we calculated the prices of these properties were based on the appraised value plus 25% and moving expenses. And there were some adjustments made to the moving expenses based on the needs of the individuals that lived in these houses. At 505 North Wind Road, that's owned by Tony Parker. That one was adjusted up to $686,100, that is. And the reason was that the moving expenses specifically for that household, there was an individual quote. The homeowners had a chance to go get individual quotes for moving expenses, and that amount was not factored into the original price that was presented last week. So what you'll see in front of you is the amended or adjusted version of item 83. And then same thing with item 84.
Mr. Major?
Yes.
83 is Mr. Parker's. correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and item 84 is Norm and Peggy Nickerson. And that is adjusted up to $697,750. So that, those two items, again, were just based off of the quoted moving prices that the individuals received. The other ones did not get moving prices that exceeded a certain amount. So I guess with that, I'll take any questions that anybody has.
Mr. President,
Thank you, Mr. Major. Mr. Mayor?
and you see, both of those are described in revised council agenda dated 4/28/2025, the revised. So being that they weren't ordinances, if you would accept the revised as what we are presenting, you would not have to amend either of these events. You would just accept and present the revised edition.
Council? Can we just accept the revisions on,
You can if you have no objection.
right, well, Ed, for ordinance, or item 83 of 2025
And 84,
and 84?
if you accept the revised edition.
Correct.
And no one objects, you're good to go.
Mr. Reeves,
Yes, Mr. Horniak.
I would make a motion to accept the revised items 83 and 84 of 2025 as presented in this evening's packet.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Second by Mr. Walenzak. Council, any objections? Hearing none, the revisions are accepted.
And
So
Mr.
if
President, there's
we'd
nothing
like
else to
We
add.
can just go right through them.
Yep, okay. Oh, Mr. President, there's nothing more to add. That
Okay.
was,
Okay, so the
presented
first,
last
council, are there any additional questions on item 82 of 2025? Hearing none, I will assign item 82 of 2025 as ordinance 82 of 2025 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor and finance director to enter into an agreement with the Oregon on the Bay Regional Economic Development Foundation to help enable the foundation to acquire additional land for industrial development and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 82 of 2025 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Second by Mr. Walenzak. We have a motion by Mr. Horniak, second by Mr. Walenzak. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Walenzak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 82 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas, 0 nays. Council, are there any additional questions on item 83 of 2025? Hearing none, I will assign item 83 of 2025 as ordinance 83 of 2025 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor and finance director to enter into an agreement with the Oregon on the Bay Regional Economic Development Foundation to help enable the foundation to acquire additional land for industrial development and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 83 of 2025 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Walenzak. Thank you, Mr. Walenzak. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Walenzak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 83 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas to 0 nays. The next item on the agenda is item number 84 of 2025, previously presented by the mayor and Mr. Major. Council, are there any additional questions on item 84 of 2025? Hearing none, I will assign item 84 of 2025 as ordinance 84 of 2025 and ask Ms. Schneider to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor and finance director to enter into an agreement with the Oregon on the Bay Regional Economic Development Foundation to help enable the foundation to acquire additional land for industrial development and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 84 of 2025 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Walenzak. Thank you, Mr. Walenzak. Ms. Schneider, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Walenzak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 84 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas to 0 nays. Our next item on the agenda for passage is item 85 of 2025. Council, are there any additional questions on item 85 of 2025? Hearing none, I will assign item 85 of 2025 as ordinance 85 of 2025 and ask Ms. Schneider to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor and finance director to enter into an agreement with the Oregon on the Bay Regional Economic Development Foundation to help enable the foundation to acquire additional land for industrial development and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 85 of 2025 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Walenzak. Thank you, Mr. Walenzak. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Walenzak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 85 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas to 0 nays. The next item on the agenda is item 86. It was previously presented by Mayor Safarian and City Administrator Joe Major. Mr. Major, anything else to add?
Mr. President, we have nothing else to add to the remainder items that are on the agenda.
Thank you. Council, are there any additional questions on item 86 of 2025? Hearing none, I will assign item 86 of 2025 as ordinance 86 of 2025 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor and finance director to accept a grant from America 250 Ohio Commission's AM 250 Ohio for Jake and Cooper's Bark Park Heritage Tree Project.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 86 of 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Ms. Ackerman. We have a motion by Mr. Horniak, second by Ms. Ackerman. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yes.
Mr. Walenzak?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 86 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas to 0 nays. The next item on the agenda is, for passage, is item 87 of 2025. That was presented by Chief Began last week, and both the chiefs are out. Does anybody have any additional questions? Hearing none, I will assign item 87 of 2025 as ordinance 87 of 2025 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor, finance director, and chief of police to enter into an agreement and issue a purchase order to Enforcement Technology Group, 400 North Broadway, Suite 400, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for the purpose of a Direct Link Bridge Series Crisis Response System with Throw Phone Surveillance Unit X4 plus Tactical Monitoring Kit, AV Net Modular, and Electronic Scribe Event Logger to be used by the Oregon Police Division for the Crisis Negotiating Team and Special Response Team in declaring an emergency.
Ms. Snyder, could you read that again?
Sure.
Just kidding. Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council,
Mr. President,
yes, Mrs. Paula.
I move for passage of ordinance 87 of 2025 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Ms. Paula.
Second.
Second by Mr. Salinger. Ms. Snyder, will you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Walenzak?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 87 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas to 0 nays. Our next item on the agenda is item 88 of 2025. That was presented by Mr. Roman. Mr. Roman, anything further? Thank you, Mr. Roman. Council, any additional questions on item 88 of 2025? Hearing none, I will assign item 88 of 2025 as ordinance 88 of 2025 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor, finance director, and director of public service to enter into agreement with Kleinfelder, 1168 North Main Street, Bowling Green, Ohio, to provide professional surveying services for annual waterline replacement, Star Avenue addition, in the amount not to exceed $35,000, plus easement description preparation in an amount not to exceed $1,500 per easement, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Salander.
I'd like to make a motion for passage of ordinance 88 of 2025 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mr. Salander.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Pauloff. Ms. Snyder, would you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mr. Salander?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
yes,
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Wolanzak?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 88 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas to 0 nays. And our last item on the agenda for tonight is number 80, item 89 of 2025. And I don't believe there's any other further questions. So council, are there any additional questions for 89 of 2025? Hearing none, I will sign item 89 of 2025 as ordinance 89 of 2025 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor, finance director, and director of public service to enter into an agreement with Hickory Shores Condominium for the acquisition of a perpetual easement to construct, operate, and maintain a multi-use trail and access drive for the Oregon Trail Bikeway Phase 2 project and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council,
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pauloff.
I move for passage of ordinance 89 of 2025 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff.
Second.
Second by Mr. Horniak. Thank you, Mr. Horniak and Ms. Pauloff. Ms. Snyder, would you please take a roll call vote of council?
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
yes,
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Solander?
Yes.
Mr. Wolanzak?
Thank you. Ordinance 89 of 2025 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas to 0 nays. Having considered all items on the agenda this evening, we will now move on to the mayor's report. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President, and council, you did receive correspondence about some retirement resignations and seasonal appointment, and I'm going to go forward with those from the fire department first, and I'm going to read just the paid-on-call ones. I think there's three of them. And I'll take those as a group, and I'd ask council's concurrence in the acceptance of the retirement of these three individuals. First is James Rindell, effective May 28th, 2025. And Jim has served as an Oregon firefighter for 28 years. The next is of Tim Whitten, an effective date of their retirement resignation is April 21st, 2025. And then of Robert Tolles, effective April 18th, 2025. And I would ask council's concurrence in the acceptance of the retirement resignation of those three individuals.
Council.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Pauloff.
I move to concur with the mayor's acceptance of the retirements of Jim Rindell, Tim Whited, and Robert Tolles, effective at their dates that are put down from the fire department.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sandlander. Council, any objections? Hearing none, Mayor, council concurs.
And this is also from the fire department also, and it is from the full-time department, and that is the retirement resignation of Jeff Nissen, who has served the city as a paramedic a lot of these years, 37 years, and it will be effective July 11th, 2025. And I would ask council's concurrence in accepting the retirement of Jeff Nissen, once again, effective July 11th, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Pauloff.
I move to concur the acceptance of the retirement of the mayor's acceptance of the retirement of Jeff Nissen, effective July 11th, 2025, from the fire department.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff.
Second.
Second by Mr. Salander. Thank you, Mr. Salander. Council, any objections? Hearing none, Mayor, council concurs.
And this next one, and I will actually read this retirement letter, and that would be from Sandy Garvrick. It is with sincere gratitude and a touch of excitement that I submit my official notice of retirement, July 31st, 2025. Over the last 31 years, I've had many incredible and happy experiences. I'm truly proud of what we have been able to accomplish together. None of this would have been possible without such dedication with talented people along the way. I look forward to the next chapter in my life. I want to offer a grateful heart to the mayors, administrators, and council members and city employees that I've worked with throughout the years. It's been a true pleasure and honor to work with all of you. I kind of revised that. Her Sandy's last day, even though officially her retirement day is July 31st, will be Wednesday, May 14th. So to extend Sandy Garverick's retirement wishes, I'd ask council's concurrence in the acceptance of her desires to retire July 31st, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor. Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I concur with the mayor's acceptance of the retirement of Sandy Garverick effective May 14th, 2025, with the thanks of myself and all from the city.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Pauloff. Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Council, any objections? Hearing none, Mayor, council concurs.
Thank you, council. I just want to add that all of you, if I watch Sandy in action, and Sandy truly does live up to the deal of living her job here and does it so sincerely as well as just naturally. And I will certainly miss Sandy, and I'm sure the rest of you will too.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr.
or
Horniak.
Mr. President, rather, I'm sorry. Ms. Wolf just brought to our attention that her actual retirement day is July 31st. I was going to say, I had indicated
I said
the May
said that.
14th date.
I
Okay,
said-
I had said the May 14th date,
Yes,
just to
but-
clarify, it's the
Oh,
July
all right, all right.
31st date. Sorry.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Kelly.
Horniak. Mr. Mayor,
What's that?
any,
Yeah, I got one further one. Oh, she's taking a little break.
yeah, I get it.
All right, and next is an appointment, and Lee in the Building and Zoning Department will be offered sometime, and we asked Kaylee, who I'm going to make this appointment for, to come in last week. This is a retroactive thing to get as much updating as Lee could provide, because she'll be leaving fairly soon. So I would ask council's concurrence in the appointment of Kaylee Wolf of 937 North Norden Road to the Office of Assistant to be placed Classification 2, Step 2, Seasonal Pay Scale, which hourly rate of $13.75 an hour. And Kaylee has previously worked here in the law department and do assist in various departments and clerical work due to vacations. I would ask, like I said, that this date be retroactive to Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. And I ask council's concurrence in the appointment seasonally to Kaylee Wolf, April 23rd, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor. Council,
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I concur with the mayor's appointment of Ms. Kaylee Wolf to the position as noted, effective retroactive to April 23rd, 2025.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak, and second by Mr. Wallensack. Thank you, Mr. Wallensack. Council, any objections? Hearing none, Mr. Mayor, council concurs.
And with that, I would conclude my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Major.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one thing about Sandy's retirement, and everybody will hear more about this as the May 14th date approaches. So there are some things planned. And it is a tough loss for us because, as everybody knows, as soon as you walk into the city building and walk into the administration side, it can sometimes turn into what we call Grand Central Station, and it gets really busy sometimes. So, all the meetings in the conference rooms and just the general public coming in and out asking questions. So she handles things very well. She's a rock, and she's been amazing for the 2.5 years I've been here. And she will be sorely missed. But I'm more than happy for her. She deserves it. So that's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Major. Ms. Purpura.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Purpura. Mr. Roman.
I just want to concur with Joel's statements on Sandy. Just sitting here thinking she's worked under 4 administrators, 3 mayors, and there's a lot of stress that comes with that, and she's always done a great job. And we definitely worked together well as a team, so be sad to see her go, but her retirement is definitely well deserved.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Roman. Mr. Horniak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to report out, I appreciate everybody's time this evening for the joint committee meeting between Economic Development and Parks and Recreation. Thank you, Mr. Reeves, for agreeing to kind of hold those together with the updates to the Boomfest plan for 2025. We look forward to another great event this year, and I'm sure details will be coming out soon of the new revised event and activities, and we look forward to another great summer season. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Mrs. Paulo.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about the accident that happened at Corduroy and Wynn yesterday. And I'm gonna, if it's okay, I'm gonna hand it over to Assistant Chief Mullins, and he'll give us a little more about it.
Thank you, Ms. Hollis. It was Sunday afternoon. There was an accident at Corduroy and Wynn Road, involved a motorhome and a passenger vehicle. The motorhome evidently had stopped, thought he did not see anything, proceeded through the intersection, and then was T-boned by a vehicle going a little bit faster than the normal speed. The motorhome then careened off to the northeast, and the only thing that really stopped that from going into those people's house was it hit a guide wire on the very top part of the bunk, if you will, on that motorhome, and stopped it from proceeding forward and going through the rest of the way into that yard. It hit so hard, that vehicle hit so hard, though, that patient was considered to be an intermediate trauma patient and was taken to St. Vincent's Hospital for treatment. The driver and the passenger, which were from out of state, were taken to local hospital, I believe, for treatment as well. So that is a high-impact area that is there, and we've seen quite a few accidents there. In my time here, in 30 years that I've been here, there's been 3 deaths that I know of from that intersection alone. One of them is a very personal friend of mine. So in your consideration for roundabouts, I know we talk about this a lot. I don't believe that accident probably would have stopped from happening. However, it certainly wouldn't have been as severe as it was on Sunday. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Chief. Ms. Paulo.
Also, I would like to set a safety committee meeting for Monday, May 5th at 5:30. And this will be put on by the police department. They will be going over the City of Oregon hunting zone, the peddlers and solicitors permits, the police K-9 update, Everbridge notification systems, and the traffic safety coordinator. And again, I'd like to set that for 5:30. Do any of the committee members have any questions?
No questions at this time.
Okay, thank you. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Paulo. Mr. Wallenczak.
No report this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Wallenczak. Mrs. Ackerman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just was waiting for Joel to steal my biggest week in birding, so Thanks for letting me have it this time, Joel. But it belongs to everybody. I'm not hogging it. But it is May 9th through the 18th. There's still time to register. If you don't get a chance to do anything else, but go out to Maumee Bay State Park on the 9th for their reception. They have like a little store area where you can buy gifts for the bird lovers in your life, especially Mother's Day, coming. And I want to thank the city for putting up, the streets department for putting up the welcome birder flags. And I would encourage everyone, tis the season for campers and boaters and birders. So have your head on a swivel and be looking for people that are stopping suddenly to see a sandhill crane in a field or what have you. Just please be patient. They bring in a lot of revenue to our city. And Kathy, or Ms. Paula, if you could add a discussion about security cameras in the council chambers. Joel Major and I were talking about it, and he said that would be your committee that would need to discuss that, especially after Mr. Dunaway's incident. I mean, we could be in some, I mean, we have cameras everywhere, but if there's an emergency in here, even when there's no one in here except whatever individuals are affected, I think it's time. We're one of the few that don't have security cameras in our council chambers. And I wanted to encourage everybody, it's probably not too late, there's probably still openings, to give blood on May 7th. I know Steve's on, I want to give him a shout out because, what are you on? What gallon?
About 5 gallons.
5 gallons? I don't know, but just, it does save lives and you can track where your blood goes if you're signed up with the American Red Cross. That's kind of exciting to know that it actually where it ends up and gets utilized. But I would encourage everybody, if you're able to give, sign up and give blood with the police department on May 7th. And that is all. Thank you.
Ms. Ackerman, could you please, you said May 9th,
7th. Oh, the birding?
the birding,
The
what
9th.
time does that start?
I think it starts at like 5:30. I mean, the store, they're set up to have, they have shoppers throughout the afternoon because the lodge is full of, people staying there. And they have a lot of vendors. They have a lot of tour companies set up. They have a lot of optics on site. So if you're looking for a new pair of binoculars, they have experts that can help you or photography cameras and everything. I'm still trying to convince myself to spend the thousands. I want the great big lens that gets right in there and can count their feathers. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. Unless you're annoyed by birders, then don't go out at Maumee Bay State Park for that week.
But you believe it's at 5:30, correct?
I can check and we can put it on the site, on the
Sounds good.
website. Yeah, because they do have, the restaurants are open and everything, but they'll have dignitaries. I'm sure we'll have Mr. Major was there last year, and hopefully more of you come, and we're well represented this year. That would be
Thank you, Ms.
greatly
Ackerman.
appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Salander?
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing from my standing committee, just a couple quick things. I did get a chance to see OCT's Oregon Community Theater's production of Into the Woods this weekend. Saw them on opening night, and it's a long show, but man, it is good. It is really, really good and a heck of a story. And I'm blown away at the talent we have of the people that were up there singing and behind the scenes and I should have got her name. The director, she's been directing now for 40 years with Oregon. So that's
Herring?
something else.
Amy Herring?
That's it. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. So if you get a chance, you have a few other chances this coming weekend. You have Friday and Saturday at 7:30 and then Sunday at 3. So definitely get out there and see it if you can. Secondly, since the roundabout thing was brought up, I just was curious with that intersection. I mean, I don't think there's a person up here that isn't concerned about safety. Since we have started this studying back in 2020, what kind of things have been done at that particular intersection? And are we looking at, I know we're looking at some other mumble strips and such at some other ones, but what are we looking at to get this, something out there now?
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. Salander, I can tell you that, you know, we've been looking at all our intersections since I've been here, I'm probably 15 years worth, but, you know, at Corduroy and Wynn, you know, and it's hit 5 accidents in a 12-month period, and I know when that happened, we put up the lights and the signs that says cross traffic does not stop, and accidents went down. And you still get speeders. I know the one accident was probably 22, 23. That was a fatality. You know, one of the other things that there used to be a flashing red for Wynn and a flashing yellow for Corduroy, but in the ODOT, that they put out a statement that says they start taking those down because they actually confuse drivers, because if you're on Wynn, you're thinking on the yellow side, you think it's a red, you don't know, if you're not from the area, you may think it's a red and they're gonna stop, which they're not.
Yeah.
You know, like this accident you just had, it's the classic two-way crash. It is they do stop. I don't think a rumble strip would have mattered here. They do stop, they just think they can go. It is maybe a judgment of speed, or they think they're gonna stop. They think it's a four-way. You know, I don't know how to get it in their heads that the cross traffic does not stop other than a blinking sign. So, you know, that's the concerns. Corduroy, just like Brown, it's wide open. So when you're driving Corduroy, people go at higher speeds because you're comfortable. And that's the problem with speed limits. You set it at the 85th percentile. That's the percent that people drive or a slower speed. That's usually what you set speeds at, you know, and you try to get them to slow down. Other than posting the speed limit and things like that, we've met with our police department quarterly, and we came up with, you know, bigger speed limit signs, and, you know, you could, certainly rumble strips, you wouldn't put them on the through street because they're not stopping, and you could put them on Wynn, but that really isn't the typical crash. They do stop. They just don't judge the person coming, or they think they're gonna stop like it's a four-way stop. That's the problem. It literally is hands down the problem. So, you know what, and I think too, we've had our past discussions on roundabouts, but, you know, Pickle and Wynn, you know, the accidents aren't as high as the other two intersections. I sometimes think a four-way stop could work at Pickle and Wynn. And I think when we get with this consultant, which, and by the way, that was a split vote, so that didn't pass as an emergency. So we haven't signed anything yet, but when we do, I think it's just having committee meetings just to go through everybody's ideas and let a professional traffic engineer be involved now and weigh in on it. And it doesn't mean a four-way can't work. I mean, I really want to legitimately look at everything and make sure that we're not missing something. It isn't just going to roundabouts. So we do think on the higher speeds, we have concerns with a four-way stop. It's just that concern that they're, you know, one, they're not efficient, you know, when you know there's not a lineup of cars stopping at a stop sign, and then you're forced to stop, it becomes less efficient. You have less regard for stopping. You start rolling through. It becomes a soft, a false sense of security that you think that car is going to stop because the stop sign's there, but it may not. So we need to bring in a professional traffic engineer and look at these intersections. It isn't just assumed to be a roundabout. It's a question, why not a four-way stop? Why not a traffic light? We know the volume's not there for a traffic light. The four-way stops, they could be used, but it's a question, will you create more accidents? That's my concern. Everyone loves giving their opinion on Facebook, but no one's gonna take the liability by making a change and having more crashes. They're not gonna speak up at that point. That's what I worry about. I really legitimately worry about things like that, and I just don't wanna make a bad decision. We weigh all this, and that's what over the last so many years, we've looked at different things, and that was my plea 2 weeks ago. I don't know what else we can do at these two intersections. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, I know it's not the best answer, but that's the truth.
It's okay. No, I appreciate it. I feel you. I feel your heart in it, so I appreciate it. That's it. I'm
Thank
done.
you, Mr. Sandlander. I have nothing from my standing committee, but I would like to thank Josette for taking over tonight. Great job again this evening. And if there is no further business before council, I
Mr.
seek a
President?
motion to adjourn.
I have one item. If I could have a mulligan, please. You asked for the biggest weekend birding was 5 o'clock. The opening ceremony starts at 5 o'clock on their schedule. That's mine.
Thank you, Mr. Major. If there is no further business before council, I seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak,
Second.
by Mrs. Pauloff, and this meeting is adjourned.